Calvin and Hobbes' sex. Calvin lay there on the bed, next to his tiger. His 14th birthday was tomorrow. He was getting older, puberty striking at his mind, voice, and body. He kissed Hobbes on the cheek, pulling him closer, and thanking him for being his friend. Then it happened. It had been happening often since he was 13, and he had no control over it. His erection tended his boxers, pressing against his friend's rump. "Stop!" Hobbes mumbled with a growl, pushing him away. Calvin turned onto his back, pulling his undershorts down and revealing his standing pillar, about 5 inches. Average, he figured. He shook Hobbes awake. He didn't wake easily, and grumbled and growled, but eventually sat up. "What, Calvin?" he asked angrily, wanting very much to go back to sleep.
"I love you."
"I love you too," Hobbes said awkwardly. "What is this about?" he wondered.
"Do you really love me?"
"Yeah, why?" Hobbes sat up further, sleep forgotten.
"I want to mate with you,"
Calvin blushed. "Wait, what?"
"I love you so much. I want to show you how much I love you, how much I appreciate how you've cared for me over the years and been there for me. Now I want to be there for you."
Hobbes looked perplexed. He stared at Calvin, and then, at the corner of his eye, there he saw it. Calvin's standing erection, dead toward his face. He knew instantly. "Oh." There was a pause. For a moment they did nothing but lay there, Calvin staring hungrily towards Hobbes' beautiful fuzzy face, as he in turn looked directly at Calvin's smooth young cock. A feeling stirred inside of Hobbes that he'd never felt before, not even through all of the years they had been friends. He bit his lower lip. "Calvin,
Please, just kiss me.
I...
Please, just once. If you don't like it, I'll never bring it up again. Just once, please. For me."
Hobbes was silent, but then slowly replied, "Okay. For you." Calvin's hand reached up behind Hobbes' whiskered, furry neck and slowly drew their faces closer to each other. His lips parted softly, and a soft moaning emanated from them, anticipating the taste of his friend's wet tiger mouth to come. Hobbes resisted, but that only made Calvin pull him in harder. Their lips met sideways, mouths open, their labored breaths mixing with each other's. Calvin pulled away slightly, as they fully contacted with each other.
"Oh, Hobbes! Hobbes!"
A wave of sensation filled Hobbes' entire body. Every muscle quaked with a shock of pure pleasure. His body melted. His lips quivered. Jeez. Oh, God. Oh, God, no. His lips quivered as they moved wet and hot against his friends. With each passing of their tongues, he became more ravenous, more hungry, more like a tiger. He suddenly pulled away, his claws extended, accidentally scratching Calvin across the cheek. "Oh, God, Calvin, fuck."
"Just let it come to you, old buddy."
"Fuck, fuck me."
"What?"
"I said fuck me. Fuck me now."
"Turn over."
Hobbes immediately and excitedly turned over onto his stomach, his ass facing towards Calvin, the muscles of his tail causing it to lift high in the air, exposing the bright, pink, smooth asshole that poked through the fuzz of his tiger cheeks. He moaned in soft anticipation. He was afraid Calvin's mother might hear. "Fuck me! Please! Please don't make me wait!" Hobbes was nearly crying, as Calvin's hesitation was like 1,000 stabs to his heart. He felt like his world was tearing apart, lest his old childhood friend fucked him in the ass, right then and there.
"Sure thing, buddy."
Calvin grasped the base of his cock, touching the top of the base to Hobbes' bright pink asshole. From the depths of Hobbes' throat came a mighty roar, like that which had never been witnessed, as Calvin's hard 13-year-old cock slid roughly into the depths of his ass. Calvin's hips began to jerk. He felt the warmth of his friend's insides. He was fucking Hobbes in the ass. He knew this, but he just couldn't believe it. But he always came back to that warmth, and it shocked him back into the pleasure of his present reality. "Oh, God!" Hobbes roared out. His English words were barely intelligible through his native animal tongue. Calvin pumped faster, harder, deeper into his tiger's asshole, feeling the warm, wet suction as it pumped in and out. Hobbes' asshole began to bleed, and it only made Calvin hornier.
Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! I love you, Hobbes! I love you!
I love you too! Oh, God, I do! Calvin's thrusting was so frantic that neither had any room for words after so many minutes. They simply fell into the pleasure, into the depth of the feeling. Two friends, deeply rooted in fun and adventure, in the science of transmogrify, time travel, film noir, it all came back rushing to them. Calvin thought back on so many memories he'd had with his dear cherished friend, and came back to the moment at hand. He realized that all of those beautiful moments finally had a focal point. He finally got what he wanted. He was finally making love to Hobbes. He continued to thrust, unthinking, until Hobbes turned, stared into his eyes. "Remember the time your house was robbed while you were away on vacation? When I was in the house? Oh, God, I was so scared. I thought I would never see you again. I wanted to tell you so many things. That night, God, I wanted you to make love to me. I thought I would never have you again. Please come. Please come in me like I always wanted you to that night. Come in me!" Calvin's penis contracted into 5 spasms that shook the very depths of Hobbes' small, tight ass. He filled Hobbes to his stomach with his loving cum. He filled his ass. And he filled both of their hearts.
God, I fucking love you!
I love you too!
Oh,
I love you so much!
They screamed to the heavens, these two best friends, becoming one. But they were cut short by a sudden noise. Calvin's mother came rushing into the room, her robe barely tied, her feet tripping up over themselves as she clumsily made her way into him. In the dark, she flicked on the light. There she saw her son, completely naked, hands gripped tightly over the waist of a stuffed tiger, his penis halfway inside the hole torn out of the stuffing of its backside. The stuffing from Hobbes' insides littered the sheets on the lower part of Calvin's body. "Are you... Oh my God!" The next morning, Calvin's mother told his father what had happened. After recovering from the shock, and Calvin's father spent the day beating the shit out of him. Calvin was broken almost to the very edge of his life. And when it was over, and Calvin was able to recover and see out of one eye, he made Calvin watch him as he shoved his stuffed tiger, Hobbes, his best friend in the whole world, the love of his life, into a wood chipper. Calvin cried, but his dad just backhanded him and told him to go finish his homework. The next day, Calvin's parents scheduled him to permanently see a psychiatrist. 3 years later, Calvin shot himself in the face. The end.